I feel like the decisions and choices we make on a daily basis, they're like layers of blocks and cement that, keeps building, keeps compounding into a life. So the decisions and choices that you make on a daily basis, those little decisions, those choices, they all amount to a life, whether you're conscious of it or not. And I know by now you're sure that, you want a certain kind of life, you know the type of life that you want, and you are intentional about building that life. I want to believe that you're intentional about building a life. But the things that we are not really conscious about are those things that pop up, those little foxes that crop up and try to destroy the life that you're building as a woman. So in this video, I want us to talk about those things that destroys the life that we are building as women, right? I want us to have that conversation. I'm going to share some of my own points, some of the things that I have highlighted, looking at people's lives, looking at my own experience as well. And I hope that you do the same by sharing your thoughts with me in the comments. Okay, so as you can already tell from the title, we are talking about things that destroys the life that you are building as a woman. Hello beauties, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Yemi, and this channel is all about inspiring you to own your life, live up to your potentials, and to be your best self. If you're new here, please do not forget to click on the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And you can go back to, my channel, check the previous video so that you can see what I'm about and what we do here. And to my returning subscribers, thank you all so much for your love and support. I really do appreciate it. Please don't forget to click on click the like button, share the video with your friends and loved ones so that we can have more people in our community. Okay, thank you. So let's just get on with it. The first thing I have on my list here is lack of purpose. And I don't mean like purpose in terms of the way people like talk about, oh, my life purpose. I mean like part-time, an agenda, lack of an agenda, lack of vision, right? Lack of vision. When you don't have an agenda, when you don't have a vision, when you don't have a purpose as to whatever you're doing at the moment, those are the things that can really pull down the building, pull down the life that you're building, because there's so many seemingly good ideas out there. There's so many people with their thoughts. There's so many things out there that can easily distract and confuse people, right? So you've made a decision, you've looked at things, you've decided that, oh, this is the approach that I'm going to go about, this is the approach that I'm going to use when it comes to like maybe my finances. This is what I'm going to do. And then you go online and you see somebody else making some kind of investment and telling you that, oh, this is how I got this amount of money by going through this investment. And I'm saying this because this is my experience. I made a decision one time never to engage in all these like pyramid scheme, all these marketing. Like I don't want to be involved in any of that, right? But at one point, I remember seeing all my friends, they were cashing out on this particular thing that was raining at the time while I was in Nigeria, and I put myself into it. And when I put myself into it, I lost money, right? And that affected my finances in a way because I put in some of my money that I was supposed to use to do other things, right? And this is just a mild example of how not having a vision can pull down the building that you are building. And that's your life in this case, right? So when you have an agenda, when you have a vision, when you have a goal in mind, and you there's a why behind it. It's not just that you just said, oh, today I'm going to eat beans, right? But there's a concrete, a strong conviction behind that purpose, right? And you're focused on it and you're following through with the plan. You are likely to build and, see your structure come out really nice compared to when you don't have a goal. Today, you're seeing someone build this way, you go ahead and follow. You see somebody else do things that way, like, oh, that's a great idea, you go ahead and follow. You see somebody else doing things that way, okay, and your building start to have patches here and there, and you're just like left and right, anywhere belly face, you are going in that direction. A purposeless life, a directionless life, in the way you parent, in the way you groom yourself, in the way you learn, in the way you go about your job, in the way you just live your life. You don't have a sense of direction. You don't have vision. You're just going, following whatever is trending, whatever somebody tells you is the life. I mean, what are you building if you don't have a plan in sight? Nobody goes ahead to build something without having a picture in sight, or you have a rough sketch in your mind. No. When people build, they sit down, they have a plan in mind, they have a goal, they have a picture, they have a mental picture, and they bring it down. They don't just have the sketch in their head. So I think it's very important that as women, we have a sense of direction. You know the things that you want for yourself. When you do, your decisions, your choices will align and follow in that light. Sometimes, yes, we drift, yeah, we go, but you don't drift away to the point of confusion. You don't drift so far from your goals that coming back feels like a lot of work. So I think one of the things that we should look out for is having a sense of direction. Yes, you can take in tips here and there, what kind of hairstyle to do, how to dress your body type. Yes, you can take in advice here and there, but essentially, you have a goal, you have a vision, you have a picture in mind. And just in line with that, another thing that I think can affect the life you're building, can destroy it, is unhealthy relationships and friendship. You know, when you seek the wrong counsel, when you seek counsel in the wrong places, let me put it that way. When you seek counsel in the wrong places, when you're in unhealthy relationships, unhealthy friendships, you know, you go and get counsel from people that don't have your best interest and at heart. You partner wrong. And yeah, you partner wrong. And I think it's such a blessing when you have the right people, the right relationships, the right friendship, the right teachers that suit your lifestyle, which is why I said the first thing is you have a sense of direction, right? And you have people in your life that follow suit, that have that same goal in mind or similar goals. You know, if you're friends with someone who has a sense of direction, trust me, you guys will be able to go further and further in life, right? Compared to someone who is just winging it anywhere beleface. I keep using that phrase, but yeah, when you go and get counsel in the wrong place, obviously you get wrong counsel that will help you go, that will deter your journey, that will make you drift and go in the wrong path. When I'm teaching my kids, there's something I always tell him with maths, with English, with anything, when I'm just like tutoring him at home. One thing I always tell him is that if you read the question wrong, you are likely to get the answer wrong. If you put in wrong information, like if you process the information wrongly, you are likely to put the answer wrong. So the goal to getting the correct answer, the trick, the secret in getting the right answer is to, process that information correctly, process the question correctly, like think about it correctly so that you are able to give the accurate answer. And I think that when you have wrong people in your corner, when you're in unhealthy relationships, unhealthy friendships, and you seek counsel in those places, you're likely going to get information that will help you process the problem, process the challenge, or process your win, process opportunities wrongly. And that way you get the wrong structure, you get the wrong building, you get a distorted view on, whatever challenge that you're facing or whatever thing that you need to get through at the time. So I think partnering wrong is something that can, affect the life you're building. Imagine you're even building a business and your business partner is not invested in that business. You're on your own. Imagine you're in a relationship with someone who does not have your best interest at heart. You're on your own. You have friends you don't have the same values. You're on your own. You will really struggle. And that can, affect the kind of life that you're building. It can affect your choices. It can affect your decision. It can affect your decisions. So I think it's very important that, you take time when it comes to your friendship. Don't hurry. Don't stumble into friendships. Don't stumble into relationships. Take your time to invest in that part of your life. Take your time to, bring in the right people on board when you're building. Another thing that destroys the life that you're building is competition. Unhealthy competition. Like it's not, and you're competing with about anybody. You just have that competitive spirit in you, envious spirit, jealous spirit, the attitude that you are in a competition. And I think it stems from this scarcity mindset, right? That something is limited, and so you have to grab it quickly so that, you have your own turn or whatever it is. But being in constant competition with God knows who. But I've seen people like that who are constantly in competition. They see someone on social media, they see a reel, see the way the person dressed, and they are working so hard or trying so hard to act that way or to even surpass that person. Like, you're in constant competition with God knows who. When there's a new thing out there, you want to be among the first person to get it. You want it to be like, oh, I was among the first person to get it. And you want it known that, I don't know. I don't know how that helps, but imagine how that will impact your life. You're constantly trying to outshine the next person. No. You have your own journey. You have your own race. That's why, again, it goes back to the first point. You have your own vision. If you have a vision for your life, I don't think you would be in competition with anybody because you don't share the same vision. You're not on the same lane, right? So having that competitive spirit with absolutely anything, anything you see, you must share. You have to be in competition. No. I mean, there's healthy competition where you see some people online, they challenge you to be better. It's challenging, right? Not to the point that, oh, I must be the first. There's a new thing out there. You just saw an advert. I must be the first to get it. So that they know, when it's not your job, that's not your daily job. That's not what you live by, I mean, like, we need to chill. It's not about that, okay? You're building a life. You're building something solid for yourself. All this distraction, all the temporary things that you see can be distracting, and you just need to be laser focused on what you're building, okay? Avoid unhealthy competition. Another thing I would say is living a godless life. Living a life of self, like you're very self-reliant. You think that everything you're building, everything you've achieved, everything you're achieving is by your strength, is by you working so hard, is by your efforts, and therefore you don't need God. You are good all by yourself, living a godless life, totally reliant on yourself, on your strength. I mean, I'm a woman of faith, and I believe that, it's all God. Everything you're able to achieve, it's all God. And imagine when you burn out, when your energy is not there to help you, when you don't have enough resources, and when you don't have enough counsel, when you don't have that wisdom, when you're confused, who is going to pick you up when you burn out? Right? Who are you going to look out for? Is it friends? Is it people? Imagine they are also living self. Everybody would then begin to guide you based on their own wisdom, not the truth. The Bible says that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and imagine that you are relying on somebody's wisdom that you're not even sure whether it's based on the truth. You just take on those advice when you are down and just move with it. It can be very dangerous and deadly because, again, people will only give you from what they know, from what they have. When their bucket is empty, they will come through for you from that state. When their bucket is full, they'll come through for you that in that state, and even for yourself. So I think that living a life of self-reliance is just self. You can do it all by yourself. You don't need God. I don't think it's a good way to go about living life because you don't know the truth. You don't have the resources. You don't know the way. You are completely blind as the next person. And I think it's very important that you build your life centered around God, because that's the only way that you can look back and you have someone bigger than you to go to and be like, I need help, or thank you, or I'm grateful, right? So I think it's very important that you don't live a life of just self-reliance, and whoever you connect with, there are also people that connect with God and see God as the truth. Another thing I would say is fleeting emotions. And this one, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of women in particular, who are very nice people. They are kind at heart. They have good intentions, but the way they go about letting out what's on their mind, it's wrong. Like, I had a friend or an acquaintance. I don't even know where to place her because we don't talk anymore as that. We're not really. We was doing NYC basically, and she was giving me. She was sharing with me an incident of something that happened while she was in uni, and she had this guy, and people have been giving her information about how he's unfaithful. And she went there one day. She went and banged the door, and she went and and only for the guy to opened the door and there was nobody there. Everybody in the area was already looking at her. She felt so embarrassed. And I was just sharing with her that if I was in that situation, like, that's not how I would go about it. And that story just came to mind now, and I'm just sharing it because sometimes we let our emotions get the best of us and we mismanage situations, we mismanage opportunities, we mismanage areas that we will, like, you go back and look at the situation and you wish that I could have done better. And it's all because of your emotions, lack of emotional intelligence, not being able to manage your emotions, like fleeting emotions. Like this moment you're aggressive, the next moment you're calm. When you're hit with something new or information, an unexpected information or an unexpected event happen, you lose control. You are just like, and you're like, that's the way I am. No, that's not the way you are. Everyone has the capacity to grow. That, as long as you're a living being, I keep saying it all the time, you have the capacity to grow. You have the capacity to be better. You have the capacity to do better and be a better person than the person you were yesterday. So don't say that that's you. Imagine you're constantly being aggressive. You repel people off you. You're constantly someone that you mean well. And that's what's like really pains me, that these people really means well, but they just come about things in an aggressive manner, in a mean way, in an unpleasant way, in an unkind way. You see somebody doing something wrong. And I used to have something like, maybe I used to behave like this before, maybe when I used to judge people, like, what I'm looking out for you. I want you to go the right way, but I'm judging you. And that's not nice, right? And over time, people would look at you as this judgy person and nobody will come to you, right? Something like that, But in this case, it's with your emotions. It's very important that, because we're emotional beings, anyone you meet, it's emotional. Some are just more emotional than others, but we have feelings, right? We all have that, feeling. We want to be connected to someone who makes us feel good, someone who makes you feel appreciated, make you feel seen and loved. So imagine in all situations, when people encounter you, your emotions are always like giving you off, right? You need people to build. You need people to assist you in life. And if your emotions keeps getting in the way, your feelings keep getting in the way, when you hear information, you don't even think to seek out the truth before you start to react. You don't even think to give it time. You don't even think to seek counsel. You're just always I think it's something that you need to check, and don't go off with that attitude that it's just who I am. No, you can pray about it. You can learn more about it. You can find ways to, be a better person. And I can just tell myself that, it's just the way I am. But I've worked really hard to not be a judgmental person, not to, even though I mean well, I should also consider the person's feelings and the person's capacity to do what I'm expecting them to do, So it takes a lot of growth. It takes a lot of effort to be that person. But, fleeting emotions is also something that can destroy the life you're building. Also, you can also look at it from this light, that this moment you're cold, this moment you're energetic, this moment you feel like doing this thing, this moment you don't feel like doing it. Sometimes your emotions are fickle. You just have to go with it, right? So fleeting emotions, unstable emotions are something that you need to look out for as a woman and, get to work on it, because it can affect the life that you are building. It's too unstable and it can shake your foundation. And then finally, the last thing I would say, just because I don't want the video to be too long, and I also want to give room for you to share as well in the comments, okay? So this is the last point I will be sharing. And the last thing I would say that can, really destroy the life that you're building, can, shake it, is a choked life. Yes, a choked life. You're too consumed with so many activities, you're consumed with so many things, like you don't have free time. You enjoy the art of being busy. You enjoy, like, people saying, oh, you're so busy, you have things you're doing. My schedule, I'm booked. What's that term? Booked and busy, or busy and booked. I don't even know how it is that they say it, but everything is choked. Like, you don't have room to reflect. You're constantly building and building and building and running after one thing or the other and on to the next, like that you really don't have time to reflect. The best work is done. The best work under any building, a bridge, is done in the beam. That's what supports that building. And I learned this a lot in China, constantly they are going down in your buildings where you live. You see them going down into the beams of the building to assess, to check if it's still in good standing, because that's what carries the structure. So if the beam is not all right, then the building might not be fine, right? So if you're too choked with activities on building, on adding, on layering, on adding, getting, grabbing, and there's really no time to really assess the beams. There's really no time to check your vision to see if you're still in line. There's really no time to check, your focus, just to assess, and you just keep layering on. Over time, your beams, when unassessed, will get tired, will fail. And one of the ways that you can, do that is assess your relationships. I think there's a video I made where I talked about questions that you can check to assess if you're really in a good place. I think that video would really help in this situation, just to know the things that you can assess instead of just constantly running after things and grabbing. Just, sometimes it's okay to do nothing. Yeah, sometimes it's okay to do nothing. The art of constantly grabbing, constantly getting, constantly consuming, constantly, here and there, it just makes you choked. There's no room, there's no space for anything to happen. No, that's not a good way to live life. So make sure that in all you're doing, in all your building, in all your layering, you still have room to assess and reflect, so that if there's any crack, if there's any glitch at the beam, at the foundation level, you are quick to, find out, you're quick to see it, and you're able to work on it really fast. That's about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And again, I'd really love to hear from you. I just don't want to be doing all the chatting. I want to hear from you. I want to get from your wisdom as well. So let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button, turn on your bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my videos, and subscribe, share with your loved ones, okay? And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. You are amazing, and I love you.